Beast Wars Episode 8, Double Jeopardy. Now, this episode actually is the first on the second disc, and oddly enough, right after they introduce Tigertron, they introduce another Predacon. So we have a new Maximal as well as a new Predacon, and this is the character I've been talking about where it's like, this is the only other character I remember from the series, and it's Black Arachnid is her name. And she is a spider character, because I mentioned I couldn't remember if she was another spider or another bee-like character, and I thought for sure she was like a bee wasp type character, but she's another spider. It kind of adds a little bit to the tarantulas thing, because even Megatron says it in one line. He's like, I'm not too sure about your motives based on her beast form being the same as yours, but he was kind of like, but whatever, we have a new Predacon, and that was pretty much how it went. And I was like, it's a little suspicious. He's always doing some weird stuff, kind of just scurrying off on his own. But Black Arachnid was pretty cool. She didn't actually have a ton of focus. The big focus of this episode was actually about Rattrap, which I thought was cool. And it starts off where it's like, oh, Rattrap, the team goes out and they get ambushed again. And it's like, this is like the fifth time this has happened. Maybe Rattrap is actually a traitor. And it starts off, and honestly, it's kind of funny. When it started off, I thought Optimus was a clone. I was like, is this like a fake Optimus or something's happening? Because he got super mad at Rattrap. And he was like, you know what? You guys are right. Maybe something is going on. And so he sends Rattrap out to like this super dangerous section. It's basically like lava or whatever. And everyone's like, are you sure he should go out? Like, it's Rattrap. He can't be a traitor. And Optimus is like, that's an order. Like, go out and do this. If you're not a traitor, then there won't be a problem to it. And I was like, man, that doesn't seem like Optimus. I feel like because they mentioned that, because it starts off with like another pod as well, and it's like, man, this is like once again like the fifth time that they've made it to the pod before we've made it. So, they'd go out to retrieve something, and then the Predacons would come in and they'd end up stealing it from them. So that's why Optimus was saying like, oh, it's Rattrap that did it. And so when they go through, he sends Rattrap out, and then Rattrap gets busted, and he decides, I'm going to save myself, and it's like, you know what, I'll join you. And this is of course Pterosaur, because I basically watched this whole disc. I didn't get to review it, but I've watched this entire second disc, and so I'm finally getting to review the episodes. It's kind of funny. I realized that today. I was like, holy crap, I watched this whole disc and I haven't gotten the chance to sit down and review a single episode of it. But none of them are connected, so I definitely made the right call of just getting through the episodes, and I have like my little booklet to remind me of anything that I might have forgotten. But it's Pterosaur once again, so he's like, oh, you'll be my lieutenant. And then, he takes him back to Megatron. He doesn't try to take over in this episode, but he does say, like, oh, Rattrap is my lieutenant, and he wants to join the Predacons. And so he's in their base, and then they have Black Arachnid and stuff, and it's like, alright, they have her, they have Rattrap. Of course, it's time to make a full-scale assault on the Maximals, because we, once again, outnumber them. It's like always their thing. It's kind of like two huge things I've noticed, especially by the time I ended the second disc. The Maximals have been in the Predacon base a billion different times, and it's only been like 14 episodes so far. And then every big thing is like, alright, something little happens, time to attack the Maximals. That's how like so many episodes is like that. It's weird that it keeps happening, but it doesn't seem to get old, because it always happens in such a unique way that leads Megatron to say, alright, we finally got enough power. But they have all this happen. Rattrap does end up escaping after he gets locked up, and then we kind of find out that he's actually working with Optimus for a secret mission. And so he goes through and he's trying to figure out where their comm relays are, because we see early on that the Predacons have like a wiretap, and that's how they've been getting ahead of the Maximals, because of course they have flyers, and the only flyer that the Maximals have is Optimus still. So we find that out early on, and then we find out as it continues, Rattrap and Optimus kind of had that plan set up, and they don't reveal it until close to the end, but it's really obvious, because like I said, I started off thinking that it was a fake Optimus, because they talked about how much time had passed. Maybe there was something in between where Optimus was switched out, but it was nothing like that. They just had the secret plan, and that was the whole point of it. Just to keep it hidden, because they had their suspicions that they were being bugged. So Rattrap gets this, and he has like some more fight scenes, because he ends up getting busted. But he goes through, and he finally sends a signal to Optimus because their whole thing is like, all right, well, we need to go to the Predacons while the Predacons are thinking of having an assault. And so the Maximals end up getting their signal for Rattrap, and Optimus is like, all right, it's time to attack. And I think I had it backwards. The Maximals were attacking the Predacons in this. I feel like they mentioned it somewhere in this episode, that the Predacons were at least thinking of attacking, especially now that they had Black Arachnia. It was like, they mentioned it. They definitely mentioned it, because like, we have Black Arachnia, and now we have my new lieutenant, as Pterosaur was saying it. It was like, now's our time to attack. So they at least mentioned it in the episode, but Optimus, because it was their whole plan, they went to the Predacon base first, and so they were waiting for their signal, because everyone's like, why are we just standing here? What are we waiting for? And so, he was waiting for Rattrap's signal. So Maximals attack, the Predacons come out, and then, Rattrap puts on a little bit of a show until Megatron ends up getting Dinobot, and he grabs him with like his T-Rex head arm thing, and he's like, now is your ultimate test, because he had the little thing where he shot Optimus out of the sky, but he like shot him in the arm. It's like, so now's your ultimate test, shoot the traitor Dinobot, and I'll know that you're actually a Predacon. And then he reveals that he's actually still on the Maximal side, and he shoots Megatron. They beat all of them. Black Arachnia, like, she like got knocked out at one point, or like got defeated a little bit, and then she was gone, because like they mentioned that she just left at the end of the episode, which I thought was kind of funny. And so everything fails, and Megatron's super mad. He's like, we lost Black Arachnia, we let a traitor inside our base because basically Pterosaur was an idiot. So he was super mad, but then everybody's like, oh, so you weren't actually, a traitor, and they realized that they just had this super secret plan going on. But it was a fun episode. It was like I said, as a kid show, pretty much all the episodes are simple, but there's stuff, every once in a while it gets pretty serious. But I was happy to see Black Arachnia show up. Obviously it's been forever since I've seen the show, so I was really surprised that she came in right after they introduced Tigatron, which I thought was cool. And I know Black Arachnia is in the show way more often than Tigatron is. Like, she's with the Predacons all the time. She doesn't go off to do her own thing, but she's just like Tarantulas, whereas like she shows that she kind of has her own little motives sometimes. And I remember that about her character. That was like the one thing I remembered about her character, is that she was just like Tarantulas, and she always had like her own little motives, or she didn't listen to commands and stuff like that. And it kind of started off in this episode, and she was just like, all right, I'm gonna leave, and she just left with no explanation at the end of the episode. But it was a cool one. It was a cool Rattrap episode. Like I said, I kind of wish it focused a little bit more on Black Arachnia, because she was, newly introduced, so that was a little upsetting. But it was still cool that she was added in, at least, because the one thing I was thinking, I thought Tigatron would be in this one, because I didn't realize she'd be introduced right after him. So I was like, oh, it's going to be the next episode. We'll get at least 2 episodes with him. And then I thought this would be like his first episode where he's a major player. But it was like, nope, we introduced a brand new Predacon, and she also wasn't really a major player, just like Tigatron wasn't really a major player in the last one. But it was still cool, and she's still cool as well. But it was a fun episode. And Rattrap, had another sort of focus thing. He's always the guy sneaking in or surviving the odds when it's just him. It kind of in a base sort of is his thing. But I thought it was cool. It was a fun episode. It was cool to see Black Arachnia show up. I believe it was this episode. I'm not sure if I'm mixing my episodes up. I think I'm mixing my episodes up, so I won't mention it. It was a different one, but she's not a bad fighter. I'll say that. Like, she does fight a little bit in this one, and also, no, this is what happened. I'm pretty sure this was this episode. If not, it doesn't matter. But she had a super crazy, like, Terminator moment, and I'm pretty sure it was this one that really showed how badass she was, because I think it was this episode. She had 2 moments that are in my head. I was mixing them up a little, but this one, when the Predacons go up against the Maximals, and she's going up against Cheetor, he's shooting at her, and she's walking through, like, her little legs on her back are like being blown off. He's being a terrible shot because he wasn't hitting like anything important. But her like legs are being like blown off of her back and stuff, and she's just walking through, and I'm like, this is kind of a badass moment. Like, it's like some Terminator stuff. And then she's like just kicked him straight in the head and like broke one of his because he has like little points on his head. She like broke one of his little pointy like metal ears off, kind of. And she just kicked him, and like she knocked him out in like that one kick. Like, she just kicked him in the face, or she did like a spin kick or just like straight up kicked him, and she like knocked him out in one hit. And I was like, I think that's when she left. She like did that one move. I was like, all right, I did my move, I did my thing, my cool moment, and she like she was gone after that. But it was like a Terminator thing. Like he, like I said, he was kind of missing. It wasn't like she was getting shot up like in the chest and face and everything. But she was being shot up, and I think she may have been hitting the shoulder a little bit. But she was just walking, no expression, anything, and it was just like boom, kicked him and knocked him out, and was just done. And I was like, that was actually a really badass moment because she's based off of the Black Widow spider because she has a little hourglass on her back too. But that was a cool moment for her character. I was like, dang, that was a super awesome evil character moment where she's just walking through it and just like boom, one hit, and she just took Cheetor down like it was nothing. And I was like, that's actually a pretty awesome moment. So glad to see she's in it. I'm looking forward to what they do with the character, even though I know, at least for this disc, what they do. But I'm looking forward to her character throughout the rest of the series because I don't know why, but she was the one who always stood out. Like, of all the Predacons, she's the only one I ever remembered because I thought she was the one that was turning back and forth. I didn't remember that Dinobot was doing that. Although he doesn't go back and forth, he turned like after in the first episode. So I feel like she does at some point, and I know she does in Beast Machines. She ends up teaming up with them for sure. I remember that, but I don't know what it is about her switching back and forth. I don't know. Maybe that was only Beast Machines, but I feel like she started to do that as the series continued on. I could be wrong because I don't really remember everything. Obviously, I didn't remember Tigertron was even a character, so there's that. But excited to see where she ends up going. But definitely a fun episode. It's cool to see Rattrap get a little. He's definitely become more of a team player since being the a-hole in the first two episodes. And it was just a fun episode overall. Because, like I said, when I thought it was Optimus that was switched out, I thought that was interesting. It's like, they have like evil Optimus, and Rattrap, listens to him because he's trying to be more of a team player. And it's like, oh, evil Optimus sent Rattrap out to die to like the super dangerous zone so that he can end up getting killed. Little stuff like that is what I was thinking. But it's like, no, kind of the simple thing was like, no, it's actually, they had their own little secret plan. But it just starts off and Optimus is just like way out of character. And I, like I said, instantly thought it was a different Optimus, and it wasn't, Rattrap being a traitor. But I like the episode. Cool to see Black Arachnid get introduced. I do wish Tigertron was in it, just so they'd have both new characters, but it was still a really fun episode. Of course, if you guys have any comments, you can put them down in the comment section below. But definitely want to thank you guys for checking this one out.